Hi, I beat Gooberland 3 months ago, but I didn't really have the motivation to make a video on it until now, so here it is. Before I'd started Gooberland, I was playing another extreme. I won't say what it is here, but progress was slow, with me getting 40%, and not many notable runs to 100 in about a month. I already knew what Gooberland was, and one day I just decided to play it for a bit, and quickly realized that was the level I was going to beat. The first day I played it was October 28th, 2025. My goal for that day was to get 65 to 100, which contained 3 parts: 65 to 81, 81 to 90, and 90 to 100. 65 to 81 was the most fun part of the level. It has fun sync-based gameplay that flows well, and also the best steaming of the level. 81 to 90 is a break part before getting to the end. It has pretty easy gameplay that you can't die to even with nerfs, other than the straight fly at the end, which was a huge choke point for me. 90 to 100 is a slightly learning robot part, but after about 20 minutes, it got pretty consistent. I ended up getting 74 to 100 and 65 to 94 in about 2,600 attempts and 2 hours of playtime. The next day, I got the first good run, which was 65 to 100. And learned all the parts except 44 to 50 and the pre-drop. The part before the parts I learned on day 1, 49 to 65, was a break, and a pretty fun part for a break, although I could die to it with nerves. The first part of the drop, 31 to 44, is fairly easy other than a tight wave, but that's pretty consistent for me. The one part after the drop I couldn't learn was 44 to 50. This 6% part was by far the hardest part of the level. It has a blind transition into a 4x speed triple orb click, where you have to click the first 2 orbs late and the third one early. The rest of the difficulty in the part comes from the wave click, which you can't really see what you're doing, so you just have to click and hope it works. And a straight fly with a gravity portal in the middle, so it throws you off, which was the most consistent choke point of the part, but still difficult. At the end of day 2, I had about 4,200 attempts and 3 hours of playtime. And then 2 days after, on November 1st, I got 46 to 95, which is good because it's the run from the middle of the 44 part, and I spent the rest of the day gaining consistency at the parts I already learned. I had about 5,400 attempts and 5 hours of playtime by that day. On the next day, I got 44 to 52, which was my first time passing the 44 part, 44 to 65, which was the same part but further. That day, I also attempted to learn the pre-drop and do my first couple of attempts from 0. I got 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9%. At this point, the pre-drop was probably the second hardest part for me and took a while to get consistent. At the end of the day, I had 7,700 attempts and 5 hours and 45 minutes of playtime. A week later, on November 9th, I got 44 to 83, which was the hardest part to the break before the ending. I honestly could not tell you how I died there, but it was a new best run. I got 16, $17, and 24%. And got my first drop attempt from 0, dying to the wave and getting 35%. I ended the day with 9,000 attempts and almost 7 hours of playtime. The next day I got 44 to 91 and got to the 44 part from 0, dying to 45.
Oh my god!
And later getting 47, dying to the part again.
Oh my god, what?
To put into perspective how difficult that part is in comparison to everything else in the level, When I beat the level, I had 650 drop attempts, and 248 of those died to 44, and 403 died to that part in total. So about 1/3 of my drop attempts died to the first 2 clicks of the part, and my total deaths in those part were more than 60% of my drop attempts. This part essentially filtered almost 2/3 of my attempts past 31. At the end of that day, I had 9,700 attempts and 7.5 hours of playtime. The day after that, I got 44 to 71, which was a decent run, all things considered. I didn't do anything else notable that day, but I did pass 10k attempt mark with 10,500 attempts and 8 hours of playtime. I took a week break from the level and came back on November 18th and instantly got a new best run of 44 to 100. This was a defining run for the grind, as it was the hardest part to the end, and later became a common run that I would have to do as a warm-up to gain consistency. The week off the level really paid off, as the same day I fluked all the way to 74, halfway through the 65 part. I ended my most successful section yet with 11,000 attempts and 9 hours of playtime. The next day I somehow got all the way back to the second half, getting a new second best of 73. My consistency was at an all-time peak as I got to the second half 2 more times that day, and died to 74 2 more times that day.
No.
I had 12,000 attempts and 10 hours of playtime that session. 2 days later I came back and got a new best of 76, finally passing the 74 part after dying to 3 times.
Oh my god.
I eventually got back to the second half and kept going. I got past 74 and kept going. I passed 83 and kept going.
Ninety.
I died to the straight fly choke point at 90 I mentioned earlier, but this was a crazy day. I would have been happy stopping there, but somehow I got another chance at the break before the end.
Oh my god.
And I died to the same part. Last time I clicked too much, and this time from not clicking enough. On this day alone, I almost tripled my drop attempts, going from 60 drop attempts to 161. Getting more than 100 drops in a day was insane consistency, even if 47 of them died to 44%. Although I was satisfied for the day and stopped with about 13,000 attempts and 12 hours of playtime. The next day was bad day, 14,000 attempts and 13 hours of playtime. On November 23rd, I started the day with 65 to 100, twice. I got 50 to 100 after, and then got to the break again. This time I finally passed the straight fly, and this happened.
$94. What am I? 94.
I got halfway through the robot, and on the same day, I got to the end again.
Oh my god.
And died to the exact same click. You might have noticed I died to 74 3 times before passing it, and I died to 90 twice before passing it, and I just died to 94 twice. I ended day 12 with 15,000 attempts and 15 hours of playtime. The next day started identically to the last with 265 to 100s. I got 44 to 100 for what was the second time ever. I somehow died to 90 again and had to stop with 15,000 attempts and 16 hours of playtime. Day 14 started with 2 runs of 44 to 100, which showed my consistency for the ending despite dying there so much. But this day was different. I got to the ending again, and I passed 90. I passed 94, and I thought I was gonna beat it.
I'm actually the worst player ever. You wanna see how far this is from the... Literally... One... No.
The nerves got to me and I died to 96, which I really didn't expect based on my runs to 100 recently. I stopped right after that with 15,560 attempts and 17 hours of playtime. Day 15 had a similar start to day 14, getting 44 to 100 twice, just trying to get the consistency I needed to get me past the final spikes. Despite those runs, I had died to the 90 straight fly another 2 times this day. I could do it in runs, but with nerves it was so much harder. I had 16,361 attempts and 19 hours of playtime. The next day I got 44 to 100 and got 45 the attempt right after, so I essentially beat the level backwards. The only other notable run that day was another death to 90. During my playtime with this level I discovered swag routes, like this one at 9% where you click as a UFO late instead of doing 3 clicks, and at 21 where you skip the dash orb and click 3 times instead. I ended the day and had 17,000 attempts and 20 hours of playtime. With this consistency, you would probably expect me to play the level until I could finish it off. Well, if you thought that, you'd be wrong. For some reason, I didn't play the level until 12 days later on December 9th, where I would get 65 to 100 and pass 65 on my first drop attempt that day, which means that I got past the entire 44 part. I got 44 to 100 4 times that day. I was sure I could beat it, and I even had a chance to as I got to the end again, but this happened.
I mean... That's so funny. That's so funny.
This was probably my new worst fail. Even if you click as soon as you land on the platform, you will pass the jump 9 times out of 10. But I happened to enter the cube portal slightly too low, causing me to hit the very edge of the triple spike. As you can tell, I wasn't too mad dying there, I just thought it was funny. I stopped with 17,075 attempts and 21 hours of playtime. On December 12th, I got 65 to 100 and 44 to 100. This would be my last time getting these runs. In the whole grind, I got 44 to 100 11 times and died past 90 13 times, easily the most out of anybody. 8 of those times being to the 90% straight fly, or 89 straight fly. Although, I didn't beat the level this day. I ended with 17,254 attempts and almost 22 hours of playtime. The next day, December 13th, 2025, I didn't get any notable runs. I probably just played from 65 for a bit to warm up, and after that I played from 0 for a bit, and this happened. Oh my god! I beat it! I beat it! I did it! What? 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 Oh my god. You know, that one part in the middle makes it so extreme, Demon. So much. It's so frustrating, but I also like it so. Why? Why? Okay, 17,454 attempts. 22 hours, basically. Uh, hello? Where's the 100? Okay, apparently I didn't beat it, but I did. Yeah, 6,000 attempts from 0. These are all my fails. I'm probably the unluckiest victor, like, so far. I I beat it. I beat it. For my opinions on the level, I think this level is great. 50 to 100, especially 65 to 81 in the end, has very fun gameplay. The pre-drop is slightly annoying, but it gets consistent. The drop is fine until 44, and for 44, as much as I should hate it, dying to 248 times, when you can do it, it's satisfying. And I think the insane choke points, I can't talk, gives the level a lot of personality. Overall, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I should realistically give it a 5 or a 6. Thanks for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's my first scripted video, and if you watched this far, maybe you can consider subscribing. I spent a lot of time on this video. See you next time.